Hello everybody, welcome back to Simulated Heaven. As you can see, as some of you may know, we are in Live for Speed. Oh, anyway, why don't we spectate until the next race? Live for Speed is a sim racing game that I used to play several years ago. Quite a lot several years ago. However, it hasn't been really that developed for at least a year and a half. There have been a few minor developments, but it hasn't really been actively developed, or they haven't added that much to it in the past year and a half, or even up to 2 years. So basically the game got kind of neglected. However, more recently they've started to look like they might start to update a bit more. They've said they're working on a new track and things like that. Anyway, so I thought I'd do a quick video just to show you me doing to show you guys me doing very badly in the multiplayer, because I think most of the people who own this, they play pretty much only multiplayer, or most of the time it's multiplayer. So I thought I'd show you the multiplayer first and kind of hopefully talk a little bit about my impressions or my ideas about this game. Now, the first thing you can see from the replay is that they still haven't got the netcode perfect. I think it's a bit better than it used to be, but still I find it slightly glitchy with the cars all over the road. Now, that's partially my fault because I live in Hong Kong, so I find most of the servers have somewhere between a 250 even up to 380 ping. You know, it's quite high ping, and I think this game is not very good with high ping. So yeah, I would hope that if you have a lower ping, if you're in a region of the world where this game is more popular and you can play with a lower ping, I'm sure the game is okay then. But for me, this game doesn't really work very well with the high ping that I have. Now, I think the race is just finished, so I should be able to join the next race hopefully soon, trying not to idle so that I get back to spectate. So as you can see, I'm in, I think it's called Blackwood, isn't it, this track? And it's the GP circuit, the GP version. For some reason, this is a track that lots of people that do road racing, they always almost seem to use this track. It seems to be the favourite track. In fact, pretty much the only servers I can find use this track pretty much. So it's a little bit one-dimensional online. You don't really get that many options. Usually it's the BMW. I think this is an F3 or F2 car, and it's almost always on this track. So yeah, that's one issue, that there isn't really a lot of option, you know, a lot of choice online right now. Maybe with the updates that they've started again, if they start having more updates, then maybe the game might start to get more popular again. I don't know. Anyway, the race is going to restart. I'm hoping that I'm near the back of the grid. Not too bad, actually. That's good. So let's see. I mean, I'm not very fast because I've only been practicing for like an hour at most, if that. So I'm really not very fast. But anyway, we'll see how we do. Oh, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Dearie me. I'm not quite sure if it's because I got high ping and this game is not very good with high ping, or, you know, it just seems that other people, they like to glitch, or, you know, they seem very like glitchy all over the road. And I kind of think as well that there are an element of people in this game that they don't really race very well, very cleanly. Usually I find in a lot of the races that I have been in, there are guys at the front who are really fast and really clean, but there's quite a few guys in the bottom half of the grid who end up all over the road. As you can see, those two orange triangles on the mini-map, that's a prime example. They are basically like spinning all over the place. So yeah, I have found it a little bit annoying that there is that element of people in this game, it seems, who will just kind of crash out and drive all over the grass and stuff like that. They usually say in this server, they say that anything like that will get penalised, but I have never seen anyone get kicked for that. I believe there's a voting system where people can get voted off servers. I don't really see those people getting voted off servers, really, if I'm honest. One of the things that does make this game very, very different, like online, is the fact that the races are usually very short races. You can see this is a 4-lap race, so it's kind of a different style from what you're probably used to, right? I mean, most other simulator games online, online they will be quite slow, you know, like the races will be quite long and things like that. So it kind of makes it slightly different. It changes it up a bit, which is good. You know, if you kind of fancy just having a laugh, like an easygoing evening of racing, which is not too serious, which is very quick fire, if you know what I mean, then I think this is a really good option. There is no like messing around with qualifying and stuff like that. Just easy, kind of pick up and play, fun. And actually this is quite a fun track. Whoopsie, I nearly lost it there. This is quite a fun track. It's just a shame that they always race at this track, it seems. Whoopsie. So yeah, hopefully I'll show you another race, because you know the races are so short. Hopefully I can show you guys a race where I don't get crashed out so easily. But I am quite slow. It's like I said, I'm not like, I think there are people that have been racing this like every day for years who are really good. Obviously I'm not very good. I haven't even played this game for a long time, so I am slightly out of practice. And also I do need a setup, because the gear ratios there are not very good, right? But anyway, whatever, we'll manage. But yeah, it's a nice experience online. It's just, you know, it's not perfect. I mean, I talked about the crashing stuff and the glitchiness, like the people that seem to be kind of like going all over the place. Now that might be my issue with the ping, but I think because it's a quick fire style of racing, you don't really care as much. You know, it doesn't really make such a big deal, if you know what I mean. Anyway, another important thing that I should talk about is what do the cars feel like? What is the force feedback like? The handling, etc, etc. Now, actually, I think the force feedback in this game is still pretty amazing if you think it's not been really updated for quite a long time. It is pretty awesome. I would say that things like R Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa have, you know, overtaken it slightly. I mean, back in the day, this was a very good force feedback example for the simulation games, and I'm all over the road. Oh, that guy kind of put me off. Yeah. So yeah, the force feedback is pretty nice. Feels pretty strong. Feels pretty realistic. The weighting on my Thrustmaster T500 feels pretty good to me. This guy is literally all over the road. The one thing I would say, I mean, the cars handle nicely. There is like nice force feedback. The physics are pretty realistic, if you ask me. The cars seem to handle pretty realistically. They do what you'd expect. Also, like, you can't be too heavy-handed on the brakes or the accelerator. I mean, the physics, they kind of feel like they're drivable, you know. They're not super hard, kind of very simulation quite hard. They're, you know, they're kind of reasonably easy for you to pick up, you know, which is good. But I think an area they need to improve is the tyre model. I mean, the tyre model, again, back in the day was actually really good, but these days with the likes of R Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa, they have kind of overtaken this game quite a lot. So the force feedback is good, of course, but I just feel that the tyre model, and I did slightly better in that corner that time. Let's see if I survive. Oh, I nearly hit the tyre wall. Yeah, like I just feel like these days it's lagging slightly behind, and they have been talking about for years now, or ages it seems, that they are updating the tyre model, but so far I don't really see any massive improvements in that area, if I'm honest. Oh, too fast, too fast. Keep it on. There you go. We got a crasher. We have managed to hold on to that. So yeah, so the force feedback is nice. It feels nice over curbs. You know, there's a nice feeling of strength when you're driving and everything. But you just don't feel the tyres as much as you would with some of those other games these days, you know, I would say. So I think that the big thing is, would I recommend you buying this game? The short answer is at the moment no. I don't think it's worthwhile for you to actually buy the game if you don't already own it, because right now it's not really up there. I mean, I would say if you want a cheap simulator game, I would go for something like Game Stock Car, really, that kind of thing. I mean, Assetto Corsa is kind of cheap enough that I would go for that over this, of course. But I think it's a game that if you already own, if you are like me and you bought it years ago, you know, and you know, you still own it obviously, then yeah, I mean, I think it's worthwhile that you have it installed on your computer for those moments when you want this kind of quick fire, not so serious, like online racing. Like, for example, if you do a lot of iRacing, for example, that is a very serious game, you know, so it's always really nice to have something a bit more fun for you to kind of chill out on. So yeah, I mean, if you own it already, then I would definitely say that you need to get into it again and have another go, and at least keep an eye on it, because they might improve it, but you never know. They might start updating it more. I mean, it's kind of a shame really, because I feel that if they had been able to update it a bit faster, I think this game actually could have still been up there, you know, as a game worthy of a buy, you know. But it's just they haven't really brought it on enough, and it's kind of a shame really. But anyway, but you never know, in the future they might all of a sudden oh, I'm on the wrong side of the road. What am I doing? I totally messed it up. So this is what happens when I try and drive and talk. Really not very good at driving and talking. And everyone in this server is way faster than me, but it's okay. I'm still having fun here. I'm kind of used to being quite slow. I'm sure if I was to practice more, I would be a bit faster. But yeah, so I wouldn't say that you should go out and buy it, but I would certainly keep an eye on it. One of the things that is really good about the online part of this game, I do really like the statistics that it has. The statistics are really nice. Like, you can see in the top left-hand side of the screen that basically anything that happens in the game, if you do a good overtake, if you do a good overtake, or if you do a personal best lap time, or anything of that nature, then it will show up in there in the top hand left side. There will be like a text message that will tell you about that. So I think that's awesome. I think that's a really good feature they got in this game. And also the fact you can automatically download the other players' skins automatically when you join the server, I think that's pretty awesome. I think there are other games out there that could certainly benefit from that. So there you go. I think I might do one other race, like for fun, just to show you guys. I mean, you know, why not, for fun. Whoa, sorry dude. But yeah, I don't think I need to say anything because it's the end of the race. So I think he kind of realises that it was the end of the race, so whoops. Well, hopefully he does anyway. Usually at the end of the race people will spin. I suppose the only thing I haven't really talked about actually is the graphics. I mean, the graphics in this game are not bad actually. They're pretty nice. They're not amazing, but they're, you know, they're still pretty okay for a racing game. They're certainly not that bad. I mean, it would be nice if they updated them a bit more, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, really. So I am starting to get a bit faster, but I'm still like 4 or 5 seconds off the really fast guys. But yeah, it's like I said, I'm pretty sure that they were driving around for years in this game. Please don't be at the front of the grid. Oh, when I'm at the front I always end up in a crash because the guys behind me usually will just crash into me. So I don't know, man, this is going to be tricky. It's like I said, in this game there's a lot of people who are fast but don't seem to know how to race cleanly. Anyway, that worked out so far. Not too shabby. I think there's someone inside there, yeah. There is. Let's let them go a little bit. Okay. Let's see how we do. So I think I've discussed everything about the game, so I'm just going to try to maybe concentrate a bit more on this race. Maybe. I think as well, the other thing I should say is I feel like they ought to make the game cheaper. I think if they were to give this game like a budget price, then I think they would then, you know, get more custom, because they're, you know, they're already so out of date, if you know what I mean. They're already so out of date that, like I said, I don't think you would actually buy this game over some of the other sim games available. But if the game was, for example, like $10, then they would probably get far more interest, you know, from people that own these other games, which are probably superior games. But they might be like, oh, I'll pay the $10 for a bit of fun outside of iRacing or that kind of thing. You know, I think they ought to price it like that. Like, unless the game gets much more updated, I don't see how they can actually charge more than, say, $10. And it also, it kind of makes me wonder, like, how much of the people who are racing on this game are actually the old guys that have owned it for ages, or if they are actually getting any new blood. I mean, I kind of would imagine it's quite, you know, that probably most of them are just the old guys who are playing on it. And I completely messed this corner. I really need to learn this track. I'm like so slow. Anyway, whatever. And this corner I'm not doing very well either. Oh well, never mind. I think I could actually drive much faster if I got it sorted. If I practiced a bit more and got my laps sorted. I think I always go too fast on this corner. There you go. Maybe a bit better, I'm not sure. I think as well, like another thing that I would say is there aren't really a lot of people who are playing online really. Like I find that Hong Kong time, I only really find race servers that are vaguely busy. Oh, damn it! When it's the evening in Hong Kong, you know, like Hong Kong time in the evening, or like early evening at least, I start seeing that there are more races which are occupied. What am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm making a fool of myself now. Damn it. Like literally all over the road. Come on. I kind of like it in this game how when you go on the grass it's vaguely realistic. Like I can't just drive off the grass easily. You know, it's quite hard to get off the grass. But yeah, that's the other thing I would say. There are lots of people playing the game for the drifting, but there are not a lot of people who are doing the actual like road racing. But in the evening I can usually find a server which is populated, at least one, maybe a couple, but like I said, the pings are quite high. But I would imagine that for most of you, certainly if you live in Europe or North America, you should be okay in terms of pings. Well, that was another slightly disappointing race. I thought I might be a bit faster there, but no. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop the video now, and I'm probably going to do a few more races, hopefully get a bit faster, and who knows, I might see some of you guys online one day. Who knows? Okay, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.